Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Melissa Brennan. Thank you so much for joining us on this Sunday. It is currently 6:11 here in Phoenix, Arizona, 8:11 out on the East Coast. We're going to hit some of the top headlines of the week. Of course, this weekend, weather is the big story. Today's gearing up to be a massive cleanup day across the Northeast after by far the biggest storm they've seen this winter has hit cities across the coastline there. Here's Fox News correspondent Molly Line.
The East Coast digging out tonight after its most significant storm of the season so far. A massive nor'easter hitting parts of 10 states and causing widespread flight cancellations in New York, Philly, and Boston. Coastal areas slammed the hardest, more than a foot falling along the Jersey shore.
We usually don't get this much snow. We haven't had it like this in a while, probably since I was a teenager.
The non-stop snowfall combined with a shortage of plow drivers is making clearing the streets a chore. Rhode Island banning non-essential road travel entirely in order to keep up with the storm.
The roads are treacherous, you know. If you don't have a truck, forget it.
Another concern was the possibility of widespread power outages. Officials say so far the problem hasn't been as bad as expected.
The snow so far seems to be a little bit lighter. Lighter snow means less impact on trees. Less impact on trees means less impact on utilities.
While the weather is causing headaches for millions, others don't see it that way. They're making the most of it. People took their dogs to run around while kids hit the slopes in Central Park.
This isn't bad at all. Like, I wouldn't even call this a blizzard. This is just like a normal Minnesota day.
And another silver lining, the storm hit on a Saturday, which means there were fewer people out on the roads, and Sunday is looking like a big cleanup day. In Plymouth, Massachusetts, Molly Line, Fox News.
And of course, I just want to reiterate that more than 5,600 flights were canceled between Friday night and Saturday, and even more could be affected throughout the day today. Affected airlines include JetBlue, American, Delta, United, and Southwest. Delta suspended operations at JFK, LaGuardia, and Newark, but they do expect to restart sometime today. Obviously depends on the state of the weather. I'm going to take you out now to some live now looks. You can see here, this is a live view, I believe, out of New Jersey, and you can see just the inches of snow that hit the boardwalk there. Here's another shot from you. Now, I'm not exactly sure exactly where this is. I do know that it is in the Northeast. As you can see, the snow on the ground, the sun coming up there, of course, as it's about 8:15 over on the East Coast. Definitely want to keep an eye on the weather and the cleanup, as again, the nor'easter just hit multiple cities across the coastline there. Our next story, however, we are going to go into football. Sports is a big topic today, obviously, as the NFC Championship game is going on, the last 4 games of the football season before the Super Bowl taking place in just about 2 weeks. So what is exactly going to happen? The Super Bowl coming up. It's in Los Angeles. It's at SoFi Stadium. Now, a lot of people don't go to the Super Bowl. It's obviously very expensive, very, very difficult to get tickets, especially this year with the teams contending, especially the Rams. Let's go out to my colleagues out at Fox 11 to see what to know before you go, Super Bowl edition.
Y'all, I don't know if you heard, but the Super Bowl is coming to LA on February 13th. It is the first time LA has hosted this big game in 30 years. It is a big deal. The last one held at the Rose Bowl way back in 1993. Super Bowl 56, of course, will be held in the brand new SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, the City of Champions, which I think is a great sort of foretelling of what we hope will happen. So what does LA Super Bowl look like in 2022, given, you know, the circumstances of the world we live in? Joining us now, someone intimately involved in all of the planning. Catherine Schlossman is the president of the Los Angeles Super Bowl Host Committee. And I suppose, Catherine, good to see you again. Your life has been Super Bowl for what? 2 years, a year, 18 months? What are we talking?
It's been pretty full time since March of 2020 planning for this Super Bowl. And I can't tell you how excited we are to finally have it come to fruition, and everything is coming together. And we just have a great show to put on, both for our locals and for the country.
And well, of course, front of mind is the health and safety of everybody in attendance, the players, the staff, the people working, the people attending. And I know that's front of mind for you as well.
Absolutely. We are working very closely with County Health. The NFL is lockstep. And actually, we're using this event to help promote wearing masks and do safe things. But we want to be the example for the country on how you host a very healthy and safe event.
Okay, now we know that that stadium can hold a lot of people, but there are going to be many, many, many Angelinos and people in the South End that won't be able to make it to the stadium. But there are a bunch of things happening all week that allow us to be part of the Super Bowl excitement.
I think it's really important that the whole city gets behind this because remember, we are the host city. We have all these visitors coming in from out of town, out of the country, and we need to show them that Los Angeles knows how to host well. But one fun thing, a little local tip I have for you, there is a great event going on downtown the weekend before, starts on Saturday, February 5th, yes. And it's called Super Bowl Experience. It's at the convention center. If you come the first weekend, you get half off. The tickets are $20. Kids under 12 are free. And it's basically, if you are an NFL fan, it is Disneyland for you. You can see out here on what you're going. You can get out and kick. You can show off your throwing skills. There's going to be tons of NFL players there and alumni there to sign autographs and take pictures with you, get your picture with the Lombardi Trophy. I mean, this is Disneyland for football fans.
It's a super fan experience for sure. We've had a chance to profile it a little earlier in the week, and we're really thrilled that this is a great way to let the kiddos, and the kid in all of us, by the way, be part of this big event. Obviously, transportation is going to be a challenge. It's been a while since we've had a sizable event like this, right? With all of the foreign, when I say people outside the state coming in for the game, a lot of media presence as well. Any tips on transportation and what we should kind of be mindful of?
Yes, great question. And again, we're so excited to have everybody here and to do these things, but please be prepared. It is going to be a busy weekend. My first and my local tip for you is try and take Metro to the Super Bowl experience or to the Super Bowl game, because for the Super Bowl experience downtown, there's going to be limited parking. I'm telling you right now. So if you are going to drive your own car, which would be my third choice, take Metro, take a ride share, and then take your own car. Be prepared to be patient because it is going to be really, really busy. I mean, we've been trying to drive attention to our city, but through this event, people are coming. Yeah. People are going to come in droves. So be prepared. And then the other thing I just want to tell you for the game, for those who are going to the game, it's not a normal game day where you can find your normal parking. It's completely different. Okay. Half the parking is off-site. We've got a great shuttle system working. Also, go Metro, go Metro, go Metro. That's my first, second, and third tip for everybody on how to really have a good experience. And then the second thing is just have patience.
So what you're saying is go Metro. I want to know a little bit more, too, because we know that oftentimes with these kinds of events, and especially with the NFL, there's often a nod to community spirit and community organization and community give back. There's a lot of things that you guys are doing to partner with some of these nonprofits that are making a substantive difference in our underserved communities. What's going to happen around Super Bowl that way?
We've been celebrating for the whole year. You just mentioned Champions. Our program's called Champions Live Here. We picked 56 nonprofit organizations doing great work in the community, and we're continuing to give them more media attention leading up to Super Bowl so they can continue to do the good work that they're doing.
You know, you had mentioned it earlier about how much time you've dedicated to this and the energy, and I know you do it with a glad spirit. Huge lift, one of the biggest events in the world. Has it just been a whirlwind for the past couple of years for you, Catherine?
It's been a dream come true. It was a bucket list item for us to get a Super Bowl here back in Los Angeles after 30 years. And it's been a dream. We have an amazing team of people, and the Rams and hosting it at SoFi Stadium and the Chargers have been terrific partners. But SoFi Stadium, we are so excited to show that off to the world.
I have been told that I would like very much the champagne lounge you have there, and I will be there at some point. I know. Maria and I will be there together.
You have to come down and try the champagne bar and all the different cocktail
Kathy,
bars.
you don't even understand. And I don't even, football and I, we kind of missed each other, but champagne you had me at. So count on that. Not for Super Bowl, another time. Catherine, again, president of the Los Angeles Super Bowl host committee. Thank you for all the work. Thank you for bringing this to our beautiful city. And go Rams.
That is right. They're saying go Rams out there. That's because they are in Los Angeles. Two big games today. The Bengals and the Chiefs play at 3 p.m. Eastern, and then the 49ers and the Rams will play at 6:30 Eastern, I believe. And obviously that is going to be a big game. You have California, two teams there battling it out. Obviously, if you watch football, you kind of know the records, what's at stake here. Other big news also out of the NFL, reports. Now, there's not really been anything confirmed about Tom Brady stepping down and retiring after years and years in the league. But definitely speculation, definitely reports saying that that is the direction he's going. However, nothing is confirmed because he is not saying whether he will be playing next season or not. So definitely something to keep your eye on throughout the rest of the football season, which does end in a few weeks, and of course, the rest of the year. We're going to take a quick commercial break here on Live Now from Fox. When we come back, we're going to talk about top COVID-19 news and what people are saying about the latest ordeal with masks. Now, obviously, masks have been in the conversation with COVID-19 for really the last 2 years now, and now that's changing. So where do we currently stand? My colleague Andrew Kraft spoke with Dr. Peter Chin-Hong about that. You'll hear it in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Melissa Brennan. Thank you so much for joining us on this Sunday. It is currently 6:24 here in Phoenix, Arizona, 8:24 out on the East Coast. We're going to go now into some COVID-19 news. My colleague Andrew Kraft spoke with Dr. Peter Chin-Hong about the latest on COVID-19, where masks currently stand, and of course, the new surge. Here's that conversation.
Let's talk about this one story out of Boston where a man is being denied a heart transplant because he cannot get, he chooses not to get vaccinated against COVID-19. The father of the man's only 31 years old, hoping to receive that transplant. He spoke out to a local affiliate in Boston, claiming that he can't get the transplant because he won't get the COVID-19 vaccine. And so they took him off the list of the heart transplant recipient list. So What do you make of this? Is this, good practice going forward? And why do you think, people who are so reluctant to get the vaccine, why are they getting denied, organ donations? What is your whole thought process on this?
Well, Andrew, this is not surprising at all. There's a whole host of things that transplant recipients or potential transplant recipients have to go through, including vaccinations, being on certain types of meds, getting a heart evaluation, stopping smoking. If you're going to get a lung transplant, for example, if your lung disease was caused by smoking, not drinking alcohol, if your liver disease particularly was caused by alcohol use. So it all falls into the realm of the following. We don't have enough organs for everyone in the country. There are more than 100,000 people on the waiting list, and there are only about maybe 36,000 transplants done a year because of organ availability. So this is not surprising. It's just that it's COVID vaccine, so it makes the headlines. But there are lots of other things that require of transplant recipients. And the reason is, when you get a transplant, you get medicines to suppress your immune system. And when your immune system is suppressed, all of these things suddenly assume outsized importance after the transplant. And it's very, very difficult to take care of someone, and we may lose the patient, we may lose the organ after the transplant. So prevention becomes really, really important. And this falls part of that prevention strategy.
Doctor, I just want to read from some of the statement that the hospital, Brigham and Women's Hospital, released. They say, quote, "And like many other transplant programs in the U.S., the COVID-19 vaccine is one of several vaccines and lifestyle behaviors required for transplant candidates in the Mass General Brigham system in order to create both the best chance for a successful operation and also the patient's survival after transplantation." And that's kind of what you have been indicating. Do you know of any instance or example or, medical facility that would allow someone who's unvaccinated to go forward with getting a transplant at this stage in the pandemic?
I think it's changing very rapidly, and even the centers that have not instituted these specific protocols are changing right now, just because, again, you want to give that patient receives a life-saving organ a fighting chance at doing well after transplant. And because transplant patients can do poorly if they get COVID-19, it's really, really important to protect them because we have that technology and we want to save that organ. But no, I mean, I can't really think of many centers that are, allowing patients right now, or they're in the middle of changing.
Doctor, I don't want to get too philosophical about this, and I don't want us to put our, bioethicist hats on, but there are trade-offs, are there not? So if you refuse to get the vaccine like this 31-year-old man is doing, now he's off the donor list. He's already in a very precarious medical position because he needs a new heart. How do doctors, come to grips with these decision-making processes?
Well, there's, fairness, there's equity, there is priority in being on a transplant list, but there's also, our responsibility to society. That organ that we give someone is going to be best used and will survive. So I think we wouldn't feel very confident that that organ and that patient would survive post-transplant without getting that vaccine, because even though his immune system is intact right now, even though his heart is failing, after the transplant, when his immune system is suppressed, he can easily not do that well. And not only from COVID, from a whole host of other things that he may or may not decide to do after transplantation as well.
Okay. Just really interesting debate, kind of an offshoot of the whole vaccine skeptic debate, what to do with those seeking life-saving organs. I want to move on to another topic. Earlier today, Doctor, the FDA revoked the emergency use authorization of monoclonal antibody treatments for the Omicron variant. And I'm talking about treatments like Regeneron that we've come to know very well throughout the pandemic. Is it rare for the FDA to revoke an EUA? Have you seen it done before? And do you think this is helpful? Do you think this is beneficial?
Well, it certainly isn't giving any, there's no rationale for using these products right now. And they're not really revoking it completely. They're saying that if there is no chance that it will work, that is, if it's Omicron and more than 99.5% of cases right now in the US are Omicron, that it probably won't be of benefit. So that's how it's being thought of. At the same time, there are antibody products, monoclonal antibody products like Sotruvimab made by GlaxoSmithKline and Vir that do work. We just have not enough of them. And there are other monoclonal antibodies being developed. In fact, I think Regeneron may come up with their own tailored monoclonal antibodies for the Omicron variant. It's just that, there's a risk and trade-off, as you pointed out before the last story, Andrew, where, suddenly the risk of getting an IV and the side effects, which are mild, if it doesn't really work, then it doesn't really make sense to go through that whole pageantry of giving a product, even though, it may be placebo.